Hello and welcome back to The Movies Made Us Do It. Me and Matt are back. How are you, Matt?
Hi, I'm pretty good, sir.
Excellent.
How are you?
I am very well. We haven't watched any films this week.
We have not, no.
Catch you next time. We have watched quite a bit of TV though, so it's it's a TV episode. We do though. We talk about TV as well.
And again, yeah.
Yeah, and it's been good. I've only watched 2 series and they've both been excellent, so I'm having fun. I've been having a lot of fun. We just had a really good talk off air about stuff, and we should have just recorded it, but it's too late. It's done now. Where do you want to start?
Shall we start with Cobra Kai?
Let's start with Cobra Kai, because that was the oldest thing I've watched, and I've already started to forget things because my brain is rubbish. Cobra Kai is a show that I unashamedly love, and it seems to be getting mostly better with each season that progresses. Is it
getting goofier?
Well, I was going to say to you, I'm glad you've said this, because I was going to say to you, I feel like Cobra Kai now exists almost kind of adjacent to John Wick.
Yeah.
Where, in John Wick, people just have gunfights and that's normal life, and everyone's an assassin.
Every other person's an assassin.
Yeah. In the world of Cobra Kai, people could just have fights and no one cares. It's fine. Yeah. The police just won't get involved.
Police eventually turn up and arrest people, but, only certain people
vaguely, and people never go to have any real consequences. I mean, my goodness, if you do, well, I guess on the one hand, if you do something, then maybe, but you just have to accept going in Cobra Kai. Certainly, as the seasons go on, you're right, it gets goofier. I'm not going to spoil the end scene, the final scene of Cobra Kai season 5. All I will say is I laughed my fucking ass off.
Yeah.
It was one of the funniest things I've seen this year, because it's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
And yet, by that point, I had been taken on this journey, and I was like, yeah, fine.
I honestly
go with it.
When they started that episode, I didn't buy it for a minute.
No.
I was like, yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It was so funny. I laughed hard when that ending happened. Yeah. Actually, it's very rare that I laugh out loud watching something, and that made me laugh out loud. That ending, it's silly.
There was a few scenes that made me laugh out loud in this season.
So obviously we're picking up from season 4, assuming you've watched season 4. Johnny is off finding Miguel, who went to find his real father. Robbie's kind of going with him, kind of tricked into going with him.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, Daniel is having to deal with Silver, who is now kind of
from losing the
karate tournament. That's what, again, the Cobra Kai world. The karate tournament is everything.
Yeah.
So Terry Silver, obviously returning character from the movie, from the 3rd movie. He is now in charge. He's managed to frame Kreese, who is now in prison. It kind of picks up from there. And
that's how you get sent to prison in the Cobra Kai world. You get set up.
You get set up. If you genuinely kick the crap out of someone and paralyze them, that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
But if you get set up, then oh no, then the police are interested. So I loved this season. I think this was better than season 4. I preferred it to season 4. I think it might be one of the best seasons since the start, potentially.
Yeah.
I still love season 1. Still got a real soft spot in my heart for season 1, but this season was fantastic. It's now that they've embraced the goofiness, they're full on.
Still a few things that I was a bit unsure of.
Okay. So I do have one.
Well, I think the whole Miguel
same
Mexico thing,
same waste of time.
That went nowhere.
Yeah.
I was really. I mean, okay, you got a little bit of closure from Miguel that he found his dad and his dad's a dickhead.
Yeah. But other than that, it was like a handful of
But I thought
funny scenes.
there could have been so much they could have done with that. They could have
Yeah, and season 4 made such a big deal of it being a thing, and I thought that most of season 4 was going to be Johnny on the road trip.
Yeah,
and Daniel dealing with Terry Silver on his own, and then they come back right at the end. But it's like over within an episode or something, like 1 or 2 episodes, and they're back.
Like 2 episodes, I think, basically.
And it really doesn't go anywhere. They could have just not done it.
Get a weird fight outside of a ring in a fight club, and
you get a tremendous scene with a tow truck, which was funny as fuck.
Yeah,
but other than that, nothing really happens.
I love it that they go all the way to Mexico, and they get robbed by an Australian.
Yeah.
I thought that was like, okay, that's weird.
Yeah. But yeah, so the Miguel thing, was there anything else from you? Because I agree, that was the one thing this season I was like, I don't know why you did that.
There was something else, I can't remember what it was. Oh damn, it was down a second ago. There was a couple of things with sort of like stuff with Stingray, which is like, okay, you've picked up with that, and it's.
I was pleased. Yeah. Ultimately, I was pleased with his arc by the end, but it took a long time to get there.
I still think. Is it Mary Mouser who plays Sam? She's just not very good.
I liked her more this season, though. I did actually think she was better.
There was a couple of times again where you're like, "Oh, for fuck's sake!"
Yeah.
You know.
I think she's meant to be like that, though.
I think so. I think so too. But it's sometimes it just really takes me out of it.
I agree. It is. Yeah.
I don't really want to lay into the girl because she's a young actress and stuff, and she's not awful.
I don't know.
She's a think about in the younger people.
I think she's kind of annoying, like Daniel was, to be honest. So it kind of works for me.
I guess. I don't know.
She kind of reminds me of Daniel a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you're supposed to draw parallels.
Yeah, but that's it, and I think it works in that way. Like,
I guess it's been such a while since I've seen the latest Karate Kid movies.
Yeah.
That I guess I haven't really thought about it that way.
Speaking of which, I had a real hope for this season that it didn't happen.
Oh yeah.
I was really hoping that they'd have Hilary Swank turn up.
Same here. I was totally hoping for Hilary Swank.
And that kind of was disappointing, but maybe next season.
Because I just thought, bring her in, show a different side of Miyagi's training.
Yeah.
That
100%.
A really cool thing. I do want to give a shout out to Peyton List as Tori.
Fantastic.
But see, this is the other one that I dislike. So her story, she has such a great story. She's got she's looking after her mum.
Yep.
She's constantly getting fucked over, but they don't do enough with it. They should really be showing, what her.
I think she had an interesting arc in this season, but you're right, it kind of ignores a lot of what they built up.
Yeah,
it's like, well, that stuff still counts and should probably play a part in everything.
It's very background and very sort of underplayed, and it's like there was a nice scene where Sam goes to see her. I think it's Sam goes to see her, and she's in her house and it's a complete state.
Yeah.
You can see her mother's foot on that hospital bed in the other room.
Yeah, and
that's all you sort of got of that whole thing, really. And it was like, that was a scene, but
because Sam sees that and is kind of like she kind of gets a glimpse into that world, but you could definitely have done with more and to see more of it, and to see to see her dealing with everything that's going on in the series as well as that would have been interesting.
Yeah.
It does kind of gloss over a lot of all of that, and we kind of just don't see much of it. But I think she's fantastic as Tori. She's definitely the standout kid.
She's one of the best additions that they had for this show.
I think so too.
Really. Great.
I have to say though, above all, Chosen stole the show for me.
Absolutely.
He's become like a Miyagi type character.
Yeah, it's really weird, isn't it? Like never in a million years
no,
he would become that sort of character, but he kind of has.
Never would have thought he'd become comic relief, but he's fantastic.
The Protect the Egg episode is brilliant.
God, that was good.
That was so funny. And again, the weirdest thing is, like you said, is it's so fucking goofy, but you just sort of buy it. Well, I certainly do.
Yeah, I do. I think it's because I'm like 5 seasons deep now, and it's been, you know what, my issues with Marvel, modern Marvel, I should say, recent Marvel aside, one of the things I think they did very well in the first instance was leaving things, it was a superhero stuff, but it wasn't like crazy out there, and then they slowly ramped it up to where you get to the point where you're like, oh, there's now a wizard, and that's fine because you've ramped it up slowly enough that I hadn't noticed from Iron Man. And they did the same with this, where it's not like goofy all of a sudden, it's a slow progression to where we've got to this point, and then you're like, wait, this is really goofy, isn't it? It's like, yeah, but it kind of earned that. They've ramped it up slowly to where it works.
And I mean, it is very soap opera. It's really, which
it's soap opera with fists.
It's done well enough that I don't care, you know.
No, I had so much fun, and it's got some real nice heartfelt moments. I don't think they will ever top the cancer episode that they did a season or so ago. I mean, that was amazing.
That episode was beyond amazing. That whole setup and the fact that they were willing to do that, I think
it was so good.
You know, then he said, "No, do it." You know.
Yeah.
I am dying. Fuck it. You might as well. It's like, Jesus Christ. That's
but what a powerful episode that ended up being. But that aside, I think there's some real emotion in this show as well. There's some really good, character arcs going on. It feels like everyone has a nice arc going on. Some of the kids do definitely get a bit more sidelined this time around.
Robbie's the one that always seems to get underdone a bit. He always gets a bit.
Yeah, and Miguel in this season, actually.
He did in this season, yeah. It was, again, Hawk got the majority of the good stuff this season.
Yeah.
Which I don't mind, because I do like Hawk.
Mm.
But I think it should have been a bit more Robbie and Miguel.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously they had some great scenes. There was that really good fight scene with them in the apartment block.
That was great. When he was just like, fight! Just have a fight and sort it out. Like, okay, that's good.
And I really love Amanda was good in this season as well. She had some really brilliant moments.
I loved when she was like, Johnny, this is ridiculous, you're too violent, I'm leaving, and then immediately gets into a bar fight. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
No, she was
great.
I
like it when they were introducing themselves to the tournament heads.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, I'm this, karate this, I'm this person, karate. And she's like, I'm Amanda, karate adjacent.
Yeah. I can't say enough good stuff about this show. I don't want to spoil too much though, because I really want people to watch it and enjoy it. It's only 10 episodes. It was, again, I mean, like season 4, I blitzed this in an evening. I just went crazy. I was like, I just need to keep watching.
Purposely made myself.
Yeah, I have no self-control.
Of it, and then it's like, okay, I'm stopping there, and I'm going to walk away, and I'm going to watch it the rest of it.
Yeah.
Later.
I was like, nah, do you know what? I'm having fun. I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to see this through.
I think
actually, no, I tell a lie. I didn't. Sorry, I did all but one episode, because I did all the episodes on a Friday, and then I was up super early on Saturday morning, and I watched the last episode Saturday morning.
Well, that kind of counts. That's almost binging the whole thing.
Well, it was annoying because I wake up very early, so it was like 4 a.m. on Saturday. I just finished watching that episode, and I posted on Facebook like, "Oh my god, the ending to season 5!" And I was like, "Oh, no one's awake to enjoy my post about season 5." And then about like 4 hours later, people started liking it and commenting. I was like, "Oh, there they are." I was like, "Oh, I want to share my love of this season with people." But yeah, I love it.
So, season 6 looks like it's up in the air at the moment.
Oh, I hope not.
Well,
actually, do you know what? It does kind of wrap up pretty well. They could leave it there.
The guys behind it, I forget what his names are. Is it Josh Harold? I know there's a couple of guys behind it, but they did plan for 5 seasons apparently.
Yeah,
but I think they could definitely, and I think even they've said, yeah, we can do more, and they've kind of left it that you can certainly carry on.
But it has wrapped a lot of things up quite nicely. If they didn't, actually, I hadn't considered that.
It could definitely end here.
Yeah.
So I think Sony is going to be doing their own Karate Kid.
What, a movie? Or
yes,
they're going to struggle to follow up on this. So, I've got to be honest.
Yeah.
Like after this, people are riding high on this. To make another Karate Kid movie now is like, really though, because people really love this show.
I mean, what the hell are you going to do? I mean, they've
already tried this before.
They've already had a reboot that didn't go anywhere. I've seen that movie and I remember absolutely nothing about it other than Jackie Chan.
Other than Jackie Chan's in it, yeah.
And Will Smith's kid.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah.
I remember something. And I think the worst thing is they're not even using karate.
They make a joke of that in the movie, don't they, from memory?
Yeah. It's like it's in China and they're using Kung Fu. How is it a Karate Kid movie?
Yeah. Because Will Smith's son needs work, and Will Smith's going to produce a movie to give him work.
Yeah.
That was in that phase, wasn't it?
Well for him, didn't it?
Well, yeah. You know.
Because he's got a sparkling career.
Well, his dad tried. Isn't he into... I think he does music now, anyway. I think he gave up on the movie stuff.
I don't care.
Neither do I, but I do care.
He's a terrible actor.
Yes.
And, fine, whatever. But, I mean, they've already had... The thing is what do you do? They've already had a female Karate Kid. They've had a race-swapped Karate Kid. Where are they going?
There's only one story.
Are they literally going to reboot it so that it's going to be a new...
But Karate Kid is literally a story that has been told now. You know, It's like we're going to remake Jaws. It's like, well, we know that story. It's, you know, there's no point. I don't know.
So I think there is a question whether...
I guess what you do, this is how modern cinema works, is you remake it, you put a female in the role, and then you say there has never been a female Karate Kid until this movie, and you ignore the fact that there was one. You just pretend like that never happened and say that it's brand new, because that's how that works. Apparently, you just pretend like the thing that you just pretend like the trend setting that happened in the 90s and like before never happened. Doesn't count. That's how you do it. I don't know. God, that's an uphill battle to go up against this show. And if people realize that this show gets cancelled because Sony want to do a movie and the movie's rubbish, they're going to get murdered.
Yeah.
But, you know, now that you've said it, this show works fine. If it ends here, fine. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's a good enough ending that I'm more than happy for it to actually end here.
Yeah.
And at least then we've actually got an ending. You know, we don't.
Yeah.
And I'm sure at some point they could always pick it up for a movie or a miniseries or something. That was if they were allowed to. You know.
I mean, it would be fun if they made this into a movie, like a one. You know, end it on a movie.
Yeah,
that'd be fun. But either way, highly recommend that you check out season 5 of Cobra Kai. A fantastic show. If you haven't
seen any of it, just watch all of it.
Just watch all of it. Yeah, season 1. If season 1 doesn't grab you, then fine. But I think it will.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess you sort of think, well, you know, it's really really good and stuff. But my brother, I was at the weekend. I was talking to my brother, and he said couldn't get into it.
No, fair enough. I mean, you know,
it's too silly for him. It's like, okay, fine.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume if you're watching a Cobra Kai, you know, a show based on the Karate Kid, you know it's going to be silly. But yeah, fine. Each to their own. I personally love this show, and you know, again, it's the one time of the year that guarantees I will subscribe to Netflix for a month. It's always Cobra Kai. It's always the show where I'm like, yep, you got my subscription. Release a Godzilla series or Cobra Kai. That guarantees my Netflix.
That's that's coming, isn't it? From
Are they doing another Singular Point? I really want them to.
Oh, I don't know.
Singular Point 2 would make me very happy.
I don't think so, but they really should.
I loved that show. But anyway, we do have some good anime. We'll get to it in a bit. What else have you watched? Let's
will go for. Let's go for Echoes. Let's get that one out of the way.
Oh, that doesn't sound promising.
So this was one. So this was one. Well, it was. We were over my brother-in-law's place, and my wife was like, "Let's watch this," and I was like, "Okay, fine, yeah, we'll watch this." So we started watching this series called Echoes.
That's quite a commitment. So you're over, like normally when people are like, "Hey, let's watch this," is a movie. That's committing to a series.
Yeah,
it's like, whoa.
We're staying over, so we usually, we if we're staying over at his place, we usually either get a couple of movies to watch, or we'll start watching a series or something.
Right.
Done it a few times with sort of.
Fair enough.
We watched what was it called? The one with the tapes, the
VHS?
So, no. It's a horror show that I reviewed a couple of months back.
Oh, yes. I can't think of the name of it, but
I can't remember what it's called. No, but anyway, we did
fun.
that.
Yeah.
We did that one, and we've done a few other things. So we started. So this is Michelle Monaghan, Matt Bomer, Karen Robinson, and Michael O'Neill. And this is about Gina and Lenny, who are twin sisters, both played by Michelle Monaghan.
Mm-hmm.
And one lives in this on this ranch, in this horse ranch in the country, and the other one lives with her husband. So one's married to the ranch dude, and the other one's married to a psychiatrist in LA, and she's in I think she's a writer. She owns a publishing company, sort of thing.
Right.
So, unbeknownst to their family, every year they meet up. They have a birthday holiday in, I don't know, some fancy place, or a hotel in Paris or whatever. They go somewhere nice, and then they check over themselves, and then they swap.
Right.
So every year they do this, and they swap every year, and they've been doing this for a long time, for years. Only this time, when this is where it gets fucking confusing, because you're trying to remember which one's which. Gina, I think it is, who is supposed to be the bad sister. Gina's the one that's always been in trouble. She's whenever something bad happened, Gina was always the one that was
the cause. Right.
So she gets a call, and they're about to do their holiday, but she isn't speaking to her sister properly. Something's weird off on the messages that she's been leaving.
Okay.
So then she gets this call that says she's gone missing. Lenny's gone missing. That we don't know where she is. Something's gone wrong. So she goes to the ranch, and obviously they're not happy to see her. But weird things have happened. Some horses have gone missing, and there's a sort of weird. There's a new sort of nanny, and weird things are happening, and she doesn't understand what's going on. She's completely baffled by her sister's behaviour, and then from then on, it becomes a sort of weird mystery as to what's happened to Lenny, and what happened to them when they were younger.
Right.
Because their mother had cancer, and she died at some point, and there was something weird about that that you don't know until later. So, so that it's a big mystery series, right? This series was rubbish. Halfway through it, we were like, are we going to continue with this? Because the thing is, I kind of want to know what's happening. I want to know.
That's what Wikipedia's for.
I know. I guess you could do that. But
that's what I do. If a show's really bad, but I just want to know, I'm like, fine.
Michelle Monaghan, who is usually really good.
Yeah.
I will say for the first half, even she was a bit dodgy in this.
Do you know sometimes you
so over the top that it was just pushing it all the
Mm.
time. There were so many red herrings that you were trying to keep track of everything, and a lot of them obviously went nowhere because they were literally red herrings.
Yeah.
The woman playing the sheriff, Karen Robertson, was awful, so bad,
Right.
really, really terrible. She kept doing these like Columbo moments,
Brilliant.
and it's like, oh god, you're so trying to be fucking Columbo. It's really horrible.
There is only one person who can be Columbo.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure they'll try and reboot that again at some point.
No, you can't reboot. I love Columbo. I know Columbo is Marmite for people. I really love Columbo.
I love Columbo. I don't like the show because I've never liked the whole. You know what's happening.
I like it. I think you either like accept that or you hate it. I'm fine with it.
The greatest thing about Columbo is watching these actors be the bad people. You know,
oh yeah, so many great actors.
Boy, and I think Shatner was in it about like 3 different times. I think.
Yeah, Shatner's like I don't know how this guy keeps getting out of jail and changing his name, but
yeah. So
I guess that's the benefit of having a show that goes on so long. You could just but yeah.
So it sort of settled a little. The acting sort of settled down a little bit as it went on.
Right.
I'm not going to spoil it, and I guess I would recommend it if you've really got nothing to watch. And
there's always something
like
to watch.
Bit of a weird, like almost murder mystery type thing.
Yeah.
There are some things where you just go, I don't believe this at all. It's getting a bit silly now.
Right.
And there are some really weird things stuff that happens when they were younger, and you just go, well, if someone would have just said something, then probably none of this would have happened.
Right.
Or, like it's stuff like that you think, oh god, this is just so convoluted. There is one fucking episode where she's wandering around, literally just going, oh, I need to find Gina. I need to find Gina. I need to find Lenny. I need to find, and it's like, oh, for fuck's sake, can we just
right
from this? I think it's 7 episodes, so it isn't as long as some of them. There's, I guess, the space for a second season. I'm not sure I'd watch a second season.
No.
Again, it was just so. It kept you going with the mystery just because it was so sort of. I wanted to know what happened. I was literally, okay. I'm really. It's terrible, but I want to know what happened. So we did stay with it. I think my wife liked it more than I did. But I honestly don't think I can recommend it. It was just really, really naff.
Right. Fair enough.
So yeah, that's kind of all I can say about it. Really, it was just a bit rubbish and a bit naff.
Well, let's talk about a show that's not naff. Cyberpunk Edgerunners, a series that I really, I've got to say that the trailer, I was like, might be all right. You know, obviously Cyberpunk is Edgerunners is based on Cyberpunk 2077, which itself is based on the old 80s tabletop role-playing game Cyberpunk, which
20.
Sorry,
Cyberpunk 2020.
Yeah, wasn't it 2013 to begin with or something? 2020 was I can't remember. But anyway, back in the day, there was a role-playing game called Cyberpunk, and it was kind of a bit janky, if I'm honest with you. However, had a wonderful world setting.
I love the old Cyberpunk.
Yeah, the gameplay was a bit like, it's all right, but the setting and the fluff material, fantastic. And then they brought out a game. It was very janky, but it's got brilliant. It's fantastic now. It just took a little while. I firmly believe that if CD Projekt Red had just waited and released what it became kind of last year, if they put it back to last year, people would have absolutely loved it. Luckily, thanks to this show, it seems that Cyberpunk 77 is getting its thing.
We've saved that game.
Yeah, and I can see why, because honestly, the trailer for this didn't win me over. But as soon as I started watching this show, I was
I see what they were doing with the trailer. I think the trailer works on a cyberpunk level.
But it does. Yeah.
But if you're not into it or you don't really know what it is, then it was a bit of a what the fuck is this trailer? What am I watching here?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It just didn't really grab me. And I'm a fan of the tabletop. I'm a fan of the video game as well. And I was just saying, it doesn't look that, it looks all right. But good Lord, this was a great show. I loved this show. I think I texted you to be like, I love this show. This show's really, really good.
Yeah.
So obviously it's set in the Cyberpunk 2077 world. In fact, it's like literally the world. You literally can see. You're like, oh yeah, I've been there. Like if you've been in there in game, it's like,
it's I like I said to I was like, hey, I know that place. That's down by the river.
It is. It's literally they've taken the night city that they created in the game, and they've actually set this entire thing in that city. And I don't mean like, oh yeah, just vaguely. It's like, no. You literally see things in the game. You're like, yeah, I've been there.
I went back,
and even geographically, I think it makes sense when they're driving around and stuff. You're like, yeah, this is literally.
Yeah, it's all stuff places that you can go to everywhere they are that you've been.
That's such a good gimmick.
I have gone back to it, and apparently there are stuff that they've left behind.
Right.
They've left like things from this show in it. Haven't found any yet.
Yeah, because this is a prequel technically, although it's kind of unrelated for the most part. There's not much tying them together.
All basically you need to know is that it's just, I would guess, maybe months before the game.
Yeah, I don't think it's too long before.
I think it's almost just before the game starts. I think is when this game is.
And it basically starts with this kid who, David, a bit of a loser at school, poor family, picked on by this other kid who's like his dad's like corp.
Well, he's a poor kid, but he's got
his mum's got a job.
His mum's got a job for working for a cleanup crew, isn't it? It's a hospital cleanup crew, and she's been saving for years to get him into the Arasaka college.
Yeah, which is mostly for corpos as they call them, but it's corporation
corpo kids. Yeah. So he's the complete and utter,
he is the kid that everyone hates there. They look down their nose at him, treat him like shit.
Because he's the only one that's not the son of a corpo already.
Yeah. He's not from money, effectively. And yeah, he's bullied and whatnot. But he, there's as happens very often in Night City, there's some violence. And his mother is killed in not a car accident, kind of a car accident, but it's as the result of being,
a firefight.
Yes.
Between some mercs trying to rob a Arasaka car. I think it was they were Arasaka.
Yeah. And as a result, she is killed. But he comes across this modification that he can.
Sandevistan.
Yes, that basically allows him to move extremely quickly. This thing is. So in Cyberpunk, you obviously modify your body for those that haven't played the game or the tabletop, and basically you start losing your humanity if you go too far.
Yeah.
And you can become what they call a cyber psycho, where you basically go insane from the amount of crap you've got.
The less human you become, the more violent and unstable you are.
Now, this this piece of equipment has driven people crazy. In fact, the opening scene, we see the result of this mod, later on in life. But for some reason, David, his body is just attuned to it, and he is more resistant to the problems than anyone else. Pretty much, he can use it without worry. In fact, I think its main later on says like, dude, like. You'll be able to use that like once or twice, and he's like, I've already used it 9 times, buddy, I'm fine.
So he
he takes it for himself, he goes to the Ripper doc, who tries to rip him off, and he's like, no, I don't want to sell it. I want you to graft it. I want it on me.
He's such a twat, that Ripper doc.
Oh, he's an asshole. Yeah. You know, and at first that's like, I want to get back at my bullies. And what I love about this show, and one of the things I didn't expect, is obviously we start off, he's like, I stand up to the bullies, but of course now he stood up to like Arasaka, like royalty, or at least, you know, someone high up in Arasaka. So he's now left out of the school, and he's like, well, I'll become a merc. I want to become a merc, and he's desperate to do this. And basically, what I didn't expect is we see the rise of this kid, which is what I expected, right?
Yeah.
But what I didn't expect was to see the fall of him as well. And the time jump, there is a time jump about halfway through this show, and that is when this show absolutely sold me. 100%. Because, you know, early on we meet this character Main, who's like this massive kind of tank of an edge runner.
So he falls in with Lucy, doesn't he? He falls in with Lucy.
Yes, who is fantastic as well.
Basically, she's a pickpocket, isn't she?
Yes.
She steals chips from people's necks in the train.
Yeah.
And she kind of sells him out to the merc, doesn't she?
Yes, she kind of makes out that she doesn't that she likes him and that she doesn't know what's going on, but she knows the tech, and she's like, I want that tech. Yeah.
So that's when Main turns up with his crew.
Yeah.
Because the Sandevistan was promised to him. Because
yes, although we later find out that it was actually meant for someone else entirely.
Yeah. Well, they knew they knew his mother. His mother was the one who was going to give it to them, because she took it off of the Cyber Psycho from the beginning.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
And the only thing I will say about this group is, I don't think you spent enough time with them before it all went off the deep end.
I agree to an extent. I would have liked to have seen more time with Main.
Yes.
Because it's clear. So
certainly with the first one that gets off, I mean, it's a bit of spoilers.
Yeah.
But the brother, Rebecca's brother, when he gets off, I was like, okay, meh.
Yeah, I didn't really.
He was slightly annoying anyway. I'm not bothered. And then when the next thing starts kicking off, it was like, oh, we have got a little more of them, just to sort of, because you spend a lot of time with Lucy, so you get attached to Lucy. I think you get.
No, I did. Lucy and David, I was like, yeah.
Yeah, you spend a lot of time with Lucy as part of this group. But the others, like Kiwi and Rebecca, a little more, because Rebecca gets a little more, a little longer time. Spend more time with Rebecca.
Mm-hmm.
So, you get to learn her. But Main, I think, for the impact that they want him to have on David, I don't think they gave enough time. Yeah,
I think there is a passage of time, but it's not very well handled. And funny enough, if you want to hear about that, the Conan the Barbarian review we did last week, we discussed passage of time quite a lot in that, and how that's done really well there. It's not quite done very well here, and it does feel like he's been with them 5 minutes, and it is kind of a bit lost. Because Main is very integral to this plot. Main is someone who has modified himself way too much, and he's warned by Lucy, I think, is like, dude, you're going too far. Like, you need to back off, because we see he's got like uncontrollable shakes in his hands and stuff, and he's clearly losing it.
His girlfriend as well, isn't it? I forget what she's called. Dorio, yeah. She's really getting concerned for him, because she can see his shakes, and and then when an operation starts going up, it was. I like what they did in that episode. It was really good.
Oh, that was fantastic. But like you said, I think we could have done with a little more time before that. Just
character-wise, I think it would have been more impactful if we'd have spent just maybe one more episode with Main.
Yeah.
Just to get a little more attached to him.
Yeah, because he's such an asshole to begin with. And then you start liking him, and then it's like, I could have done with more time, because I feel like you said, maybe one more episode, I would have loved him, and then it would have been way more impactful. But anyway, they all pretty much get offed. And at that point, you're like, okay, where's this going now? Like, but it jumps forward, and we see David as now, like, you know, this really accomplished merc. He's set up, he's got his own crew, and he's running his own crew. And I won't spoil anything, you know, beyond that. Really, I don't really want to, because it's fantastic. But really, it's the story of this, you know, kind of innocent kid, and his rise to power and fame, and then subsequent fall. And it's really, really well written, really well acted. The Japanese acting is fantastic. I'm pretty sure the English will be as well. Netflix are pretty good.
I actually watched this one in English because I thought, well, it's Night City.
Yeah.
So
So how did you find the English dub?
Really good, really good.
Great.
Actually, I thought it was a really good, some really good voices in it.
Yeah. That's good. They Netflix do seem to be pretty good with their English dubs, to be fair.
Yeah.
They generally are always good.
I was pretty impressed.
Mm-hmm.
This did such a good job of showing just how brutal Night City is.
Yeah.
And even little things like the fact of with his mother, and that, you know, they didn't have the insurance, they didn't have, you know, anything that, you know, to pay for any of the stuff, for treatments or anything like that. So he fudges it, and then he has to pay for it.
Yeah.
He dies. She gets cremated, and that's it. He has to pay for it. He goes to go home, and his apartment's already been locked down. He can't get in there.
Yeah, because he's not paid the rent. Yeah.
In there, but I mean, I don't know whether that is supposed to be your apartment from.
Oh, maybe it is. I hadn't thought about that.
Exactly the same, but I imagine all of those apartments.
Yeah, I would imagine they're just modular things.
Yeah. Obviously, he gets another apartment. He gets
of course,
big swanky place later on. But I did wonder whether it was literally supposed to be your apartment.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's a good point. Hadn't thought about that. But yeah, I absolutely loved this show. I would love it if they do another series. I absolutely just tell a different story in Night City.
That's it. You just do tales, like, you know, a Tales from Night City thing. Don't you? To have loads of different.
Well, it's interesting because we've seen the Edgerunner side now, which are like the mercs. I would love to see some of the Corpo stuff. You know, do a series about you know, some Arasaka.
I'd love to see Nomad stuff. You know,
Nomads would be fun. Yeah.
You know, do a couple of seasons.
That's where I thought he was going to go. Actually, I thought he was going to end up with the Nomads.
The Nomads.
Yeah.
I wasn't quite sure, but I thought no, because the way what he was doing, I thought that he's probably not going to go on the outside, is he? But you know, I what was great was, you know, they went to the afterlife. You saw Rogue.
Yeah.
He was getting a job from Wakako. There was so many little things that you just go, oh, it's that. This is so cool. It's literally, I mean, when I went back in, after watching the whole series, I thought, right, I'm going to go make a new character up.
Okay, yeah.
So I literally did that, and I have started running around the places where I knew they were, but I haven't found any evidence of them yet.
Oh, okay. I haven't. I'm still. I think it's like my third time playing through now.
This is my third character. Yeah.
Basically, I've finished pretty much. I'm just kind of doing side missions at this point on my third one.
Yeah.
And then I think I'm done, to be honest, until they do the expansion. I'm not. I actually was going to say I way more prefer the story to this than the video game. I wish they'd done this story. It was better.
I really love the video game story.
I like parts of it. I personally find Johnny Silverhand is so thoroughly unlikable and fucking irritating as shit when he constantly turns up.
That's definitely one of those things. I think it depends on whether you can tolerate Johnny or not.
Yeah, I mean, the acting's fine. Johnny
Silverhand, I think he's a great unlikable character.
There are a few moments where I was like, cool. You know. The bit with the Oh, I don't know if you've done it. The side mission with the murderer who wants to make amends and ultimately decides he's gonna basically off himself on camera.
Yes, the crucifix.
Johnny's great during that bit. There are little bits where I'm like, yeah, Johnny's cool, but overall Johnny annoys me. And I wish this. I just watching this, I was like, wow, this is a way better, more interesting.
It helps. It really helps that Johnny is Keanu Reeves. I think.
Yeah, sure.
If it was another actor, it might not have been quite so.
Yep.
Endearing. Because there was some. I love the story with what's his name? The bass was he the bass player?
Yes, or the other guitarist. I can't remember. Yeah, he's great because you do the whole gig and stuff with him.
Yeah,
which is fun.
I love that stuff. That was really good.
You're right. Actually, the side stuff with Johnny is way better than the actual story, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I
actually completed it. Have you completed?
Oh yeah, I've completed it. But this is my third time through, and I've basically completed it. I just haven't pulled the trigger on the final bit.
Did you do different endings each time?
Yes.
Right. Okay. Because I completed it once all the way through, and I'm pretty close with another character.
Yeah.
So my first playthrough was with the I did with the Nomads.
Yeah.
Because I love Pan Am. I think Pan Am is probably my favourite character.
You mean you just got involved with the Nomads, or you went the Nomad?
I went the Nomad ending.
Yeah.
I went with them.
Yeah. Because that's another thing that annoys me. You should probably come on the Icons at some point. We should talk about this game because there are some things that really annoy me with that game, and one of the things is the pointless fucking choice you make at the start of the game as to whether you're like fucking Corpo or Nomad. It makes no fucking difference. Pick whatever one you want. There's basically barely like tiny little dialogue changes, and that's about it. It has barely any fucking.
You get different beginnings for each one.
Yeah, but then after that, pointless.
All you get is you get dialogue options.
Yeah,
which can change certain things.
But the outcome is always the same.
But
it just doesn't feel like... Because I was like, oh man, if I pick the Corpo route, I'm going to have like a completely different life and completely... Nope. Same. Yeah. Same dude. Even speaks the same. Doesn't even sound different for his upbringing or anything. It's like, okay. But anyway...
I'm surprised they didn't give you more than 2 voices.
Yeah, because you've only got the male-female voice. I mean, to be honest, this is like a thing I have with video games as an aside. I much prefer a silent protagonist anyway. I'd rather just be silent and kind of have the character be me rather than voiced. But that's one of my own kind of issues with games generally. I
think it works really well in certain games. I guess it's just one of those things, isn't it? I love it on Mass Effect.
Sure.
And you only get 2 voices in Mass Effect as well.
Yeah.
I guess, and I think the female voice is way better than the male voice in Mass Effect.
I think I actually think it's the same in Cyberpunk as well.
Yeah.
I actually think the female voice is better than the male voice.
I think you're right.
But yeah.
But anyway. Also, I mean, when you've got someone like Saints Row.
Yeah.
Like many people, I love the Cockney voice in Saints Row.
Yeah, sure.
It's such a fucking great thing, and I have heard that they haven't done it for the latest version. I'm not playing it anyway because it looks terrible.
Yeah, I was going to say I don't think anyone's playing it, so I wouldn't worry.
But the whole you don't put the Cockney voice in a Saints Row game is just terrible.
Yeah.
One of the things that loads of people love. Why would you not put that in there?
Yeah.
I guess it depends on the game, but sometimes it is nice to have
It depends. Yeah, I mean, if I'm playing The Witcher, then fine.
Yeah, because
I'm playing as Geralt. That's fine. Yeah. But when it's an RPG, I like to create my own character and actually be my own character. And when it's voiced, I always feel like you're just shoved into a personality and stuck with it.
That is true.
But that's just me. Anyway, this series is a must see if you're a fan of like animated shows. My God, this is good.
If you like any sort of cyberpunky sci-fi stuff,
it's one of the better.
It really is. It's I mean, it's never going to be as good as Ghost in the Shell, but what is?
Well, no, that's very true. I mean, I was getting some proper watching this. I was even getting some like Cyber City Oedo kind of
Yeah.
vibes.
Oh,
It's
that's
great.
a scene from fucking Donkey's Years.
Oh, that's good.
That's been a long time.
Good. That's a good film.
Yeah, it's great.
Film. Well, it was like 3 episodes, wasn't it? But it's kind of made into a
Yeah.
film. But yeah, no, I loved this show. Also, the animation is fantastic. I don't know if we said that, but the animation is absolutely fantastic.
It did suffer from time to time with the non-moving in the background.
Yeah.
You know, which annoys me slightly, but I've seen so many animes like it that
to be honest,
these not the worst offender for that.
No, absolutely. And to be honest, considering where we are with the state of Netflix animation, I'm just really glad it wasn't just pure CG like they do quite often. It was nice that it's like, okay, it's like, you know, it's got like a hand-drawn style.
Yeah.
So, you know, I was happy for them.
I really like that the Trigger is the company that did it. I really like the fact that Trigger you hear about the character of Rebecca?
No.
So she's a little lolly, isn't she? She's pigtails and she's tiny and stuff. So some people at the company at CD Projekt Red were like, "No, you can't have her. The lolly aesthetic doesn't fit in with the cyberpunk." It's like, really?
Yeah, it does.
How does that not fit in with cyberpunk? It's like you can be almost anything in fucking cyberpunk. It will fit. And they were like, no, and Trigger went, "No, fuck you. The lolly stays. We're not getting rid of her." And that was it. They stuck to their guns, and they eventually just said, "Okay, fine, she stays." So she stayed. I was like, I'm really happy with that. I'm really glad.
She's fantastic.
And she's brilliant. Yeah,
she's really funny.
She is really funny.
Yeah.
I don't think you see her enough.
No.
But you know, you can say that with all of them. But from what you see of her, she's brilliant. And even with the driver I thought was really cool as well. And you didn't see a lot of him either. Guy with the cowboy tash.
Yeah.
He was really cool. I mean, all of the sub characters, even though you know you don't spend a lot of time with them, they're all kind of cool.
Yes.
You know, they've all got that. They all have a little moment. So yeah, brilliant series, brilliant.
Yeah, I absolutely loved it. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. Cannot recommend it enough, and I really hope we get another series of it.
Yeah,
it was great. But anyway, what else have you watched?
So I also watched Sprung.
Yeah, a freebie show.
Yeah, it's a freebie show,
which is nice. You know, nice to see.
So it's written and directed by Gregory Thomas Garcia, who previously has done My Name Is Earl and Raising Hope.
Right.
So I don't know whether you've ever seen My Name Is Earl.
Yeah. Well, not all of it.
Right. Okay.
I saw like the early seasons of it. I thought it was funny.
So from the start, I will say, if you don't like those series, if you don't like My Name Is Earl, you are not going to like this, because this is really similar. It's got completely the same sort of humor, and it's so okay. So Garrett Dillahunt is Jack, and he in the 90s he got arrested for having drugs,
right?
And at that point there was like mandatory sentencing for drug offences.
Okay.
Like 15 years for it. And because it was his second offence, he ended up getting 25 years for owning drugs.
Right? Okay.
And of course, now you don't get anything for it, because it's like legal in, I think they were in California, I can't remember. It's, you know, they're legal. Dope's legal, so he would have got nothing now. But because it's, you know, then he got ridiculous amounts. So he spent almost all his entire adult life since the 90s in prison.
Right.
Now, COVID hits, and a mandate comes down saying, because of, you know, distancing and all that sort of stuff, we're going to release all the non-violent prisoners.
Right.
So he's told, you know, you get to go. You're off. So he comes out of jail, and he's been talking to there's women on another floor, and they've discovered that he can talk to this woman through the toilet. If they flush out all the water, they can talk to this. He talks. So he's got this girlfriend that he's never seen, and she gets released as well.
Right.
So he's obviously older than he said he was.
Yeah.
And he's nothing like he said to her. So he's kind of avoiding her. His cellmate Rooster, his current cellmate, he gets released as well. And he doesn't know what he's going to do. He's not spoken to his parents since the 90s because he was so ashamed. He told them never to visit him, so he's not spoken to them. He's got nowhere to go. Like, COVID's hit, so everybody's trying to avoid each other. And he gets... So basically, Rooster's mother, Barb, played by Martha Plimpton, the amazing Martha Plimpton,
yeah,
turns up and says, "Okay, you just come and stay with me." So him, Rooster, and Gloria, who's the girlfriend, played by Shakira Barrera, who was in Glow.
Yeah,
they all go to live with Barb in this house. And she's really excited because she's a bit dodgy. She steals parcels from front doors and things like that. So she's pretty dodgy, and she's overjoyed because she thinks they're going to be her new crew.
Yeah.
And Jack is, theoretically he's still kind of like a teenager because he's never really grown up properly. But while he's been in prison, he's had so many different cellmates and so many different, talked to so many different criminals that he's kind of learned all these things from these people. So he's almost like a master criminal because he's learned how to do certain, go to rob this place straight after they've locked up because it'll look like you're just coming back to get something. Go to do this and only do this and so he's learned all these things, but he's a good person. He only wants to rip off bad people. So Gloria gets this idea that she's going to rip off this evil senator who has been like ripping off people and stuff. So it then goes on to this sort of thing of they make this plan to rip off this senator, and they have little things along the way with this girl called Wiggles and who's Rooster's like love and all that sort of. It's really, really silly. It's really over the top, and it is just in that same sort of humor with My Name Is Earl that it's like a bad person who's trying to do good. I really loved it. It is really funny. All of the actors in it are absolutely brilliant. Garrett Dillahunt is one of those actors who mostly plays wrong-uns. He's got that sort of face where he's the guy that killed Bill in Deadwood. He played two characters in Deadwood actually. So he's got the look, but he's genuinely sweet in this. It's sort of slightly naive because he doesn't really know how the world works that well, but he knows how to do all these crimes.
Right.
And it's really funny when it's like when he comes out of the gun, it's like he sees the sort of this bunch of bins that are all color coded for the different things. He's like, wow, color coded bins. Hey, what else? What other colors do they come in? And things, just little things like that. I really enjoyed it. I highly recommend it if that sort of humor is your bag, because humor is very subjective.
Of course.
But I think it's light. It's silly.
Just a bit of fun.
Yeah, exactly that. It's not serious. It's just a big, silly, dumb show.
And that is fine.
There's 9 episodes. Again, there's scope for them to continue it, but I actually think it ends really well, and I would be more than happy if that's just how it ended. It does have, it has a through. It's not just a every week they go back to reset. It's not that sort of show. To a certain extent it is, but overall there is an overall storyline for the whole season. and I really enjoyed it. It's, like I said, it's genuinely funny. Everybody's doing a great job. Martha Plimpton is fantastic. Yeah, loved it. Really good.
Awesome. Well, since we haven't watched any films, that's what we got. But there were some things that happened. Some trailers. There's some trailers that happened, and some of them were pretty good. I thought. I'm 100% sold on Hellraiser. I really fucking like it.
I'm glad you said that, because I am too.
Yeah, it looked really, really solid, and I am, as someone who has sat through all of them.
Yeah, I've not sat through all of them. I think that's later one, the last one or two.
Yeah. I thought, this looks great. Mm-hmm. Some minor, like we're saying this for the trailer moments aside, visually stunning, looks really well acted, really well directed.
I loved Pinhead's design.
Oh, so good. That
design.
I think the whole thing looks fantastic. I'm super excited for it. In fact, it's made such a good impression that I'm not going to watch it immediately when it comes out, because a friend of mine we're gonna watch it around her house, together. Like in the old days when we used to go around people's houses to watch it, to watch something together, because we both have a history of watching, horror films together. And it's like, we should watch this one together. I'm gonna wait a week or so until she's free. We'll do a, movie pizza night or something. It's gonna be fun. Really excited for that one. Looks absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I was really and interesting what they've done with the.
I'm glad as well, actually, secretly, Matt, because I was a bit worried you were going to go, "It looks terrible," and I'd be like, "Oh, really?
No,
I like it."
I was really impressed. I really liked. I mean, when they dropped the pictures of the
pictures looked fine, but really seeing it in motion is different.
Mm-hmm. And I like the idea of that. It's there's more than 2 configurations for the box as well.
Yes, yeah,
that was quite good. It's like 5 configurations or something like that.
Yeah,
I'm all for the more lore with the actual, the box and what else.
Oh, absolutely, because this is meant to be a continuation, isn't it? I'm sure I heard. Rather than a reboot or remake, I should say.
I'm not totally sure about that.
I mean, either way, I'm very happy with what I'm seeing. I'm just curious more than anything.
I think if it says that the first 2 exist, I would be over the moon with that.
It's a reboot of the franchise, so I guess it may be a clean start. I don't know.
Yeah.
Either way, I think it looks absolutely fantastic.
I was more than happy with that trailer. I thought it was a great trailer.
Totally sold. We also got a trailer for The Last of Us. Don't know if you've seen that yet. Came out today.
I have not, actually. I didn't realise that.
Okay, well we discuss that next time when you've seen it.
Okay.
I thought it looked okay.
I don't really want to bother with it.
Fair enough.
Look, The Last of Us was fucking great.
Yeah, because I think it's based on the first game, right?
Yeah. I have no interest in the second one, and I'm not sure I could muster any interest with it.
Yeah. Well, fair enough. I may give it a go. It looks fine. I mean, I'm kind of zombie things, but it looks fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks well. I mean, it's looks reasonably well acted, and looks like a good fun show.
So far I've been impressed with because it's oh, for fuck's sake, what's his name? It's the Mandalorian, isn't it?
Yeah, Pedro.
Yeah. Let's go. I really like him.
He's a fantastic actor.
Some of the things he said aside, I think he's been in some really good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. He's got really good comedy chops. I've seen him in some really good comedy stuff. Not that I'm saying he's going to be comedic in this. He really shouldn't be comedic in this. But I would watch it for him, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, the trailer was pretty strong.
Okay.
So it could be worth a watch.
Okay.
Is there anything else you wanted to cover?
Remember the other week when we were saying about with Maverick coming out, everybody's going to be bringing out their old
old tired franchises. Yes.
Netflix has now confirmed that Judge Reinhold and John Ashton and Paul Reiser will be joining Eddie Murphy in the Beverly Hills Cop Axel Foley film.
Yes. Now, hasn't Eddie Murphy been trying to make this for like ever?
He's been trying to make another one for a long time.
Now,
and
I wasn't a big fan of the third one, to be honest.
I fell asleep watching that one the first time.
I feel like it could be fun, right?
Yes.
But it I don't know. Beverly Hills Cop. It's like the thing with Beverly Hills Cop is that it's like the hip cop from, you know, the maverick cop coming to this place where they just follow the letter of the law and they're super, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
It feels like a young guy's game. And now Eddie Murphy's older. I'm just not sure. Do you know what I mean? Like, does Axel Foley work as well when he's, you know, as old as Eddie Murphy is now?
I've got a feeling it's gonna be they're gonna like bringing
his daughter or something. Yeah. Which is fine. I mean, that's one way of going about it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure. I mean, for goodness sake, we've just spent like an hour talking about Cobra Kai and how much we love it. I'm gonna watch it.
I mean, that's it. I mean, it's gonna be good. It'll be good just to see where, you know, Billy is and where those guys
exactly.
are.
Just catch up with the characters.
Because what's his face has got to be retired surely by
now. Oh yeah, God, yeah. I imagine they all should be retired by now. But
yeah,
you know,
how old is Judge Reinhold now?
He's got to be getting on, hasn't he?
He's got to be nearly 60, hasn't he? Surely.
I would imagine they're all retirement age.
Yeah.
I would imagine. Let's have a look. Judge Reinhold is, drumroll, 65.
Oh wow, he's older than I thought.
Yeah.
And Taggart's got to be really fucking
Eddie
old.
Murphy's 61.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think. I just don't see how.
Well, I suppose if they're all retired and they're all coming out of, I do like the idea of like something happens and they've all got to, you know, meet up to.
Yes, if it's something from their past,
that's kind of.
You know.
I like the idea of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, why not? Fuck it. If they're all on board, at least there's that. You know?
So John Ashton is 74.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, fair enough, though. Like you said, if they come up with a story where they have to, you know, if it can somehow link back to those early movies, the first two movies, and something, you know, I don't know, do a Die Hard 3 is like someone's brother or something, you know. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, give them a reason to. I like it. I really have a soft spot for Die Hard 3. I actually really like it.
Never.
I know a lot of people don't. I prefer it to the second one. I really like Die Hard 3, but never mind. Yeah. So I know I'm you know, I'll give it a go. I just wonder how well it works when they're all this old. But you're right. They'll probably go the kid angle. It'll probably be like, you know, Axel's kid works, you know, is a cop, and you know, his dad's gonna, or his or her dad's gonna get in the way, you know. But it could be fun. Anything else?
So one last thing, Louise Fletcher.
Louise Fletcher.
Has died at age 88. So she's most famous for playing Nurse Ratched.
Oh, okay. I couldn't place that then. Yeah.
And also the awful person that is Kai Wen.
Yes.
In DS9.
She's so good at being so horrible, though.
Oh, she is.
I remember I every second she was on screen, I hated her.
Yeah.
But, you know, in a good way. Like, she's just that good in the role that you're just like, oh, I just absolutely hate you so much.
I think one of the weirdest things for me is
yet you still feel kind of bad for her when she gets betrayed.
When she's in One Foot in the Cuckoo's Nest, there is something about her that makes me slightly fancy her, which is really wrong in that, but because she's so fucking evil. But it's Kai Wen. What a wonderful character.
That's like her defining performance for me personally, as a huge Star Trek fan.
Yeah, I mean there were times where she turns up and you just go, oh fuck's sake, no, not that.
Yeah.
But her story is great. She's got some really good stuff in it. It does get fucking weird when Ducat becomes a Bajoran.
Yeah.
That's very odd. That whole set of stories. But
DS9 does kind of get a bit jank towards the end, I gotta admit. The overall story works fine, but it does get a bit. There are moments where you're like, really? We're doing this?
Yeah.
But yeah, a fantastic. I mean, yeah, like I said, that her performance is quite weird. It's like, oh,
yeah. So yeah,
yeah. So I think we've already. Did we say on air what we were doing next time?
May have. I think we might.
I can't remember what we said and what we did.
Not, we will say it again anyway.
Say it.
So next week we will be doing Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Yeah, all the overacting.
Yes,
I love Bram Stoker's Dracula, so I'm really excited to cover it. I think it gets undeservedly shit on. I think it's a really good adaptation. It's really fun. It's got some amazing visuals.
Yep.
I'm super excited to cover it. And Gary Oldman, perfect. So yes, we will be back then. Sorry, were you going to say something?
No, I'll save it till next week. I was going to say something. I thought, no, I'll leave.
You can say it now if you want.
No.
Oh, are you saving it for the actual review?
Yeah,
okay.
we'll talk about it next week.
Cool. Well, until then, stay safe and we'll catch you next time.